I mean, it's okay to say that you don't know something. Oh, he ran. We love a self drop. Gail, can we get your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Yeah, 24, white, he, him.
All right. Which topic do you disagree with?
Reverse racism is a myth.
Okay, tell us why.
Yeah, I think we look at, for example, I assume, I guess the first thing, just so we can get some definitions squared away, so we're not speaking past each other. You define racism as power plus prejudice, I assume?
That's kind of basic for me, but we can go with it.
Okay. So I guess when we look at the N word, for example, black people have every single right to say it whenever they want to, but if a white person says it, they have threats of violence against them, just like Shiloh Hendrix.
So, are you up here basically telling us that you want to say the N word?
No, I never made that claim.
Okay. But if someone, hold on a minute. Let me ask you this. If I, and shout out to W Super Solid in the chat. If I, let's say I go to school, right? And every single day after lunch, a bully comes up to me and punches me in the chest, right? Obviously, that's not okay. But let's say one day I decide to defend myself and I punch the bully back. Have I then become the bully?
No.
Right. So, Black people being triggered or upset by people that are not Black using the N word towards them is not Black people being racist. There
So it
is no
makes it
such thing
okay
as a
for black
racist.
people to threaten violence,
You
including
know what? Do
unalive
you,
threats to Shiloh Hendrix.
do you know what? Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. How many Black people have unalived, right? While hearing that word historically and even all the way up till today. Are you trying to say that the playing field is evened out? Because you're
Well,
looking you're looking past the major issue here. Like you're looking past the fact that that word is tied to so many horrific things that have happened to Black people and are still happening to Black people globally. It is not the same.
wait, if it was such a horrific word for black people, why do black people use it all the time?
Well, that's
That makes
exactly
no
why.
sense.
Do you know what linguistic reclamation is?
Oh, so it's only okay if black people get to say it, which then proves my
Yes,
entire
yes.
point. It proves
No,
my
it's
entire
not
point that
racist.
the N
So,
word is literally a.
I just need you to take a breath.
I
Linguistic
was in the middle of making
reclamation,
my point.
reclamation is a thing, right? So, you wanting to say the N word, yes, that is going to get your teeth painted 100%. Black people using the N word together, that's for us to worry about and not for you to worry about. But
Oh,
that is
so
not an
it's not okay
example.
for a white
That
person to
is
say it, but
not,
it's only
that
okay
is
for black
not,
people to say it. Got it.
that is not, yeah, exactly that. That is not an example of
So
racism.
that's exactly my point. That's prejudice plus power right there.
No,
Because
it's
now you have
not.
granted black people a special privilege that white people cannot
Power
use.
equates to what? Power equates to what? What is the power part? In your definition, what's power mean?
Power is going to be any sort of form of social control.
Give me an example. A factual
Sure. I
example.
mean, legalistically, obviously, you're going to have certain laws that the state enforces, but even culturally, like just for
Be more
example,
specific. Be more
huh?
specific. Be more specific.
Sure. I'm trying to get. I'm going to give you an example right now. Legalistically, for example, obviously, you have the law of don't murder people because that's enforced. You will be punished for it. The
I'm not
state there
asking you
has
for an
power.
example of a law, like right, not just any old law. You equating power to systems? Is that what you're?
No, I'm just saying power in this case. I'm meaning it as social control. So laws
Yeah,
can
but
be used as
it's not
that, but
only.
even sure. Do
It's
you
not
want an
only
example of a
something that's.
non-legalistic
Yeah,
example of power?
it's not only something that's social, right? Like explain to us how racism works.
What do you mean exactly?
How does it work? How does it
Like, well,
function?
what do you mean by how does it work?
How does it work? What does it look like in society? Like be factual, give us factual examples.
Well, I mean, the thing with racism is there's 10 million different definitions. I don't know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
care about the definition. We're gonna use
yeah, well,
let's talk
exactly.
about
That's kind of where we're going
hold
to
on.
disagree then.
Gail, hold on. I don't care about the definition because the definition is not going to explain how racism functions, right? If I read the definition of the word lungs, I'm not then going to be able to go to somebody and explain what happens when a lung collapses, right? Why? Because I would have to do research on lungs that would extend beyond just me reading the definition of the word, right? So I don't care about the definition. Let's talk about factual information. Can you tell me when racism was created?
Yeah, but with your example of the word lung, like
Answer my
you still
question.
need to know what a lung is before you can actually even figure out what lung collapse is, which
That
means you
does
need to
okay,
know the
but that
definition of what a
which
lung is. That proves
that
my
point
point.
that you're making, that point that you're making does not take away from what I just said, right? What I just said was in order to truly understand the functionality of lungs, you would have to do research on lungs that goes beyond just reading the definition of the word. That's my
Sure,
point.
sure, but what my
Okay, so
point
we have
in
that
regards to
established.
that though, in
We have
response to
that
that though,
established.
is that it
Yeah.
still requires the
Yeah.
beginning knowledge of it is the
Yeah.
presupposition of what a lung is.
Gail, but we've already agreed on a definition. The issue is that all you've done is read the definition. You haven't done research on racism outside of what the definition says, right? Which is why you're struggling. So let me ask you this. Can you tell us when racism was created?
You mean the word?
Not the word.
Well, again, what do you mean by racism specifically? Because there's certain things that people call racist that I may not consider racist, or there
When
may be things
was
that I would consider racist that you won't
when
consider racist. That's why I want a definition, so
it's
we're
either a
operating
yes
on the
or I
same
don't know. Yeah, the
definition.
definition is not the defin but here's the thing. This is why it's disingenuous. No definition of the word racism is going to tell you when racism was created. If you don't know, just say you don't know.
Oh, okay. So let's
Answer the question,
just
Gail.
for example, do you
Yeah.
think like for example,
Answer the question.
if someone acts in
Answer
their
the
own ethnic
question,
collective,
Gail.
I'm trying to get this
I need you
part of the
to
conversation
answer
through.
my question.
Just let me ask the question, okay?
No, answer my question. I asked my question first.
I'm trying to just
Answer it.
work with me, please.
Answer the question.
I am trying like
You don't
do
need to ask me a question in order to answer.
I just wanna make sure we're crystal clear that we're
Listen,
not
Gail,
speaking
we
past each other.
disagree. Listen, we disagree, right? We are going to be speaking past each other because we disagree. You
Yeah,
don't
but
think this is
that's exactly why we
all
are
right
in the
then.
weeds right now.
So answer the question. When was racism created?
Well, again, what do you mean by racism? Do you think like ethnic, for example, if I act in the collective interest of my ethnicity of people in my ethnic group, is that racist?
Are you don't know what the difference between race and ethnicity is?
No, no. Well, some people say that's racist. Are you
No, no,
one of
no.
those
I don't care
people?
about some people. I don't care about some
Well,
people, right?
that's exactly
We're
why. Like,
speaking on the
what are
not. Hold
you
on, stop.
specifically
Gail,
saying?
Gail, stop over talking. I don't do the over talking. I'll give you a chance to respond, but stop. So, race and ethnicity are not the same, right? I'm monoracially black. I have two black parents, right? But ethnically, they are different. My father is Nigerian and my mother is Puerto Rican, right? Race and ethnicity are two completely different things. I don't care about what other people are saying, right? We're talking about and discussing the knowledge that you have and the knowledge that I have in this conversation.
Sure. Well, I mean, when we look at countries such as America, which have multiple different ethnicities, these ethnicities are going to group into different racial categories. Obviously, for example, in the scenario that you provided of your family,
Yeah, we're
uh,
not talking about ethnicity though. That's my point. We're talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
racism.
So I'm just saying, like, for example, if you have no interest, if you have no issue with, for example, someone acting within the confines of advocating for what's good for their ethnicity, then why do you have an issue with someone advocating what's good for their race?
Because racism is a thing that exists. Are we okay?
Sure, but like again, what
So
do you
you
mean by
don't know when
racism?
racism was created?
Like, what
You
do you
don't know when.
mean?
Hold on, Gail. So you don't. This is the issue. You didn't do anything outside of just reading a definition. You don't know when racism was created, do you?
Like again, what do you mean by racism specifically?
I mean racism, like racism.
You
We're
know what?
talking
Yeah,
about
I'll
a
just we'll just move on from the
system.
point. Sure, I don't know what, so we
Okay.
can just
See,
move on
that's
from this
all you
point.
had to look at that.
No, just move on. I just want this conversation to progress. I'm sick of just being stuck at this point. What do you
The
mean?
reason why it's not progressing is because you just don't know what you're talking about. But so can you tell me why racism was created?
I was asking for like,
You
what do
don't
you
know.
mean? When was
Can you tell
racism
us
created?
when?
I mean,
Can you tell us
if I
when?
don't know, then
Can you
obviously I'm
tell
not going to
us?
know that follow up answer.
Yeah,
So can we
yeah.
skip past this?
So you don't know anything
Essentially,
about the
you holding
origins
the
of
hostage.
racism? You
Well,
don't know
can you
anything about the
please just
origins
skip
of
past
racism?
this? Like, can you just like have an actual argument? Like, what is this?
Yeah, I'm trying to get there, but you don't know enough about racism in order for us to have an actual argument.
Well, it's just like I mean, you keep saying, okay, when was racism created? Okay, what do you mean by racism? Is
You
like the
should
first
know when it was
question, and it
created.
is like, yeah, and I'm saying like for example, if I act in my collective interests, and not just my collective interest, my race's collective interest, is that bad? Is that racist?
Are you white?
Yeah, I'm white.
Yes, it is bad if you're white.
What about
Yes.
black people?
No.
Why?
So you don't understand racism.
That doesn't answer the question. Why?
So because
Did you just
racism
not
was
answer
something.
questions?
Gail, stop. Racism was literally created by white people, right? They created a hierarchy where they self-imposed themselves at the top of the racial hierarchy. Then they created systems and put systems in place to solidify their position at the top of the racial hierarchy, right? The issue is that these systems, while they afford white people privileges and benefits, right? They're afforded those privileges and benefits through the exploitation of all other groups of people that are not white globally. That's why.
Okay, so I mean, just by your own definition, then, if we just
That's not a
switch the races
definition. That's an
around, then it wouldn't be
explanation.
racist. For
Yeah,
example,
but that's
black people have a
so. Hold
special
on,
privilege to a certain word, the N word, that white
Gail,
people don't have, right?
Gail,
Yes
Gail,
or no? Yes or no? Answer
Gail,
the question.
Gail, Gail. Stop. If you want to just say the N word, say it right now.
See, this is I. See, you're not gonna bait me into saying it because a
Say it.
that would get both of our
You want
accounts
to say
nuked.
it,
You
don't
know
you?
that.
You want to.
You know
Hold
that
on.
would
You want
both.
to say it though, don't
You know
you?
that would get both of our accounts nuked. B, I'm
You
not
want to say it,
necessarily
don't
advocating
you?
for
That's why
that.
you're up here harping on it.
No, no,
Just say it.
no. I'm pointing
Say
out a
no.
contradiction in your
Say no.
worldview.
It's not a contradiction. It's
It,
linguistic
it is a
reclamation.
contradiction.
It is linguistic
It is a
reclamation.
contradiction.
Black people can take control of a word and do what they want with it. That's it. It's not racism. You don't even know what racism is.
Yeah, yeah,
You're not
because you keep
supposed to have this
redefining the word
dialogue.
every single time I try to approach
I
a
didn't
definition for it. You keep saying that's not
I didn't
racism.
define the
I
word.
can only define what racism is.
I
You
spoke
gotta let me speak.
factual information.
Yes, and you're just presupposing that your worldview is factual information.
It is, but
That's
you
the
can't even
issue.
tell me.
That's
But
the
here's the
issue.
thing: you're not going to be able to tell me if it's correct or if it's incorrect because you didn't even do any research on racism yourself.
Well, I mean,
Hello,
I asked you, like, like again, what do you mean by racism specifically?
and I
And
just
if it's
explained it
just like,
after
oh,
you.
when white people do it, when white
And I
people
just
advocate for
explained it
their own
after
collective
you.
interests,
Yes.
that's racism. But
Can
not when
you? So
black people,
Gail,
not when Mexicans, not
Gail,
when any other ethnicity does it,
Gail,
any other racial group does it. That's
Gail,
ridiculous. This is a
Gail,
double
calm down.
standard that you're imposing upon
Calm
white people.
down.
This is
Tighten
a
up.
double standard.
Calm
You
down.
gotta
I'm
let
gonna
me
respond.
speak.
No, you need to calm down.
No, you can't
First of
speak.
all, you said Mexican is a race. You don't understand the difference
Latino,
between
technically.
Latino is not a race. I'm a Latina woman, but my race is black. You can be any race and be Latino. Hello? You don't know enough
Oh
about
man,
racism
you're
to
one of
have
those
this
types.
dialogue. You
I
don't
love
know
how you
enough
switch your
about racism
accent.
to have this dialogue.
Man, I really hope Trump deports you.
You worried about my accent, but you should be worried about the
You should
knowledge
be deported to
that you
fucking El
lack,
Salvador.
that you lack on
You should be
racism.
deported to El Salvador.
Oh, I should be deported.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, take your pasty ass back to Europe,
Oh,
bitch.
someone's mad.
Mm.
Shh.
Yes, listen,
Calm
I
down.
can curse and
Calm
be
down.
angry. You
Calm down,
still don't
woman.
know what
Shh.
racism is.
Calm
You
down.
still don't know what racism is. You still don't know what
Yeah, and your
racism is.
definition of racism is
You
stupid.
came up here arguing something that you know
No,
nothing
you
about.
don't know anything.
We all know that you want to say the
No,
N
you're
word.
just
Just say
imposing a
it.
double standard.
Just say
Exactly.
it.
Stay mad.
Say the N word. We know you want to say it. Let it out.
See, I know you keep trying to
Let
bait
it
me.
out.
You keep trying to bait me.
Let it out.
No.
Well, this is your argument. You want to be able to say the N word, don't you?
No, I never said that.
Say it.
No, I never said that though.
So what are you arguing about the N
I
word?
never said that. I'm just saying you're opposing
Yeah,
a artificial
linguistic
standard upon
reclamation.
white people.
What is linguistic reclamation?
Again, I mean, it's pretty obvious
What
that
is
a
linguistic
racial group is able to
reclamation?
quote unquote reclaim a certain word for whatever reason, say the N word. But
Okay,
again,
Gail,
it
listen.
seems like you're trying to impose your power upon a specific
Hold on.
word. Yes or
Gail,
no? Are
listen.
you trying to
I want to
impose
level with
specific
you. Hold
control
on.
upon a word? Yes or
Gail,
no?
oh my
Just
God.
answer the question.
I'm going to level with you. Hold that thought, okay? Take a deep breath and hold that thought. Can you hold that thought?
Did you just answer the question?
Pause that thought.
Did you just answer any
Just
questions or
pause.
no?
I'm not going to, I will
Or
answer
do you
after.
just
Just
like
pause that thought.
go back and forth and not actually
Gail,
engage
black
with anything
people
I say
saying
because
the
you're like a
N, black
brainlet
people,
midwit?
black people saying the N word is black people's business. That has nothing to do with you. That's it. When's the last time you've taken a flight out of the country?
Never. Why does that matter?
Out of the country.
Oh, someone kicked me.
Never.
Yeah, well, you took a flight off my panel today. W. Crane's in the chat. Shout out to everybody that sent the cranes.
Oh,
Tap the
I got
screen.
muted immediately.
Share the live. Tap the
Yeah,
screen.
I
Share
did.
the
I
live.
answered
If you
multiple
disagree
questions.
with
What are you
what
talking about?
If you agree with
What are you
both
talking
topics,
about?
just hang
I
out in
just
the
wanted a
comment
definition
section.
of what she meant. Or I just want to know what she meant by racism. Like,
Gail,
what do you mean by racism? Like, do you
listen,
mean advocating for your own
you
racial group?
and your
Is that
other buddy that
racist? Apparently,
was
only
up here
white people
before
do it, but
you,
not black
tighten
people.
up, okay? Y'all need to actually read on racism. Do research on
Read a book on
racism.
racism
If
because
you
I'm more of
haven't
an
done
expert
any
than
research
you.
on
Yeah, but
racism,
your worldview
why do
makes
you
no fucking
request
sense. It's an obvious contradiction. You just can't accept it. That's why you people
you're
fucking
not trying
lost
to
in
have a debate,
2024.
pointless live.
That's why you people
I
lost.
am actually trying to have a
Because you
debate. I mean, more
people
of a
fucking suck.
discussion, but
That's why.
people just don't know anything about